So today I'm doing a bit of a longer video. Decided to start going to YouTube, and I'm doing everything off the top. So I might stutter, I might say some things twice. Everything's not going to be necessarily perfect. But to be honest, I hate cutting videos. I hate going back. I hate editing. Don't really know how to do that stuff the best. So it's coming straight off the top. Right here, we're just talking about the best ways to build muscle, the best ways to diet, just bringing it right off the top. So first off, I'm going to say nobody knows yet the best way. Of course, we're going to look at science. Of course, we're going to look at people's experiences, what is a person's experience? That is what you gather. You gather somebody's results, also known as experience, with a controlled study, and that's how you get science. So looking at somebody's experience is like an uncontrolled study versus science being a more controlled study, which there will still be flaws. But what we have seen recently is that high intensity training is the best way to grow muscle. So what is high intensity training, right? So high intensity training is training close to or to failure, or there's no such thing as beyond failure, but finishing with partials on a set or something like that. So it has been shown that the 5 last reps on a set is what grows muscle. So that's why people highly recommend working in the 5 to 8 rep range. So those last 5 reps is what grows muscle. So when you want your set to be the closest thing to 5 reps, so 5 reps, you're going to get all of those stimulating reps. You're going to be able to have the most amount of focus, most amount of control, waste the least amount of energy to get to that. Now, what is a reason to do more reps than 5? It is if you have a really fast tempo. So let's say, you bench and you're bouncing, and you might need 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 to 12 reps because your tempo is so much faster. You're not controlling the descent. But the main thing is those 5 final reps. Anything under 30 reps has been shown to have a same amount of muscle growth as 5 to 30 reps, as long as it is leading to muscle growth. So how many sets in a week should you do per body part, right? So people might think the more sets, the better, but it's not. Once you do those 5 stimulating reps, you have stimulated muscle growth for that muscle that you were working. So it's actually the less sets that you do, the better, as long as you are progressing. So there's 2 things to it: high intensity training, which we went over, and progressing. So there are many ways to progress. And one of the ways is not adding more sets, common to belief. It is just more damage to the muscle. You have already, let's say you're doing 2 sets on that bench press to failure. You don't need to do 2 because the first one already stimulated muscle growth on that exercise. So progressive overload is increasing reps, weight or reps. And of course, technique has to be the same, or at least very similar, to show that you have truly progressed. Let's say, you're benching and then you got 5 reps, but then another day you did 6 reps, but you're thrusting the weight up. Is that truly progressive overload? That's hard to say. But if you did 6 with the same technique, but on the bench, everything else, you have progressed for that workout. So you're progressing on weight, reps, or weight, and or reps. And you're doing it in the least amount of sets possible because it's going to be the easier to recover the less sets that you do. Now, how do you know how many days to work out a muscle, et cetera, et cetera? So make your split to where, the closer a muscle is to the start of the workout, the more your nervous system is going to be recruited, and therefore you're going to get more muscle growth. You're going to get more contraction from that muscle. You're going to get more muscle growth the closer it is to the start of the workout. So making a split to where if you're doing full body and you have calves at the end, your calves are not going to grow as much as the muscle you have at the start because you have used so much energy, especially if you're trained in failure. So splitting up your muscles throughout the week is going to be more of an optimal way to do that. There are so many ways to build a training split. Now, I went over the main components of what builds muscle and progressive overload. Now, the heavier and heavier that you're lifting these loads, the more rest that you're going to need. Somebody that's a newer lifter is going to grow better with more volume, more frequency. But as those loads begin to increase, a greater or less frequent lifting is going to be more beneficial for that lifter, or less frequency or more frequent deloads. But if you're recovering properly, you should theoretically never truly need a deload. Now, you may become stale on these exercises in the far future. That's where exercise swapping comes in, where let's say you're doing a bench press, switching that to dumbbell bench press. So that has covered a majority of how to build muscle, how to progress, and it's very important to track your lifts as well, take pictures. And then as far as diet goes, it's really all going to come down to calories and protein. Of course, there's micronutrients, things like that for your health, getting a bit of fruits and veggies in through your day. But really, it's not going to be hard for you to get enough carbs. It's not going to be hard for you to get enough fats throughout your day. So you get a certain amount of protein, you get a certain amount of calories. Calories is energy. If you're burning less energy, or if you're burning more energy than you're eating, you're going to lose weight. And then the opposite is going to be the opposite result. You're eating more than you're burning, you're going to gain weight, getting a sufficient amount of protein, which is not as high as you think. Anywhere it's suggested from 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of lean mass is going to be optimal for putting on that muscle. You can, of course, you can eat too much protein, which leads to more calories, which is going to lead to fat because you're getting that surplus, but up to that number has been shown as of now to be a good amount of protein to eat, that 1 gram to 1.5 grams of lean body mass. Ronnie Coleman would eat 600 grams of protein, but he was 300 pounds lean. So you're not necessarily going to be in that situation. If you're 150 pounds, typically you're in a spot, you're good from anywhere from 100 to 200 grams. I know it's a broad spectrum, but you have to see things like body fat, activity level, et cetera, et cetera. But the way to do that is look at how much protein you're eating. Look at the results in the mirror, take update pictures, see that your numbers are progressing. Of course, that's going to be more related to the program than diet, but it still has an effect. And then if you're losing weight and you're feeling good, you're getting stronger, you're eating a sufficient amount of protein on that calorie deficit. And, if you're eating more calories, you actually need less protein because you have more energy storage. So less calories that you're eating, more protein that you need, because you have less energy. So that's a brief synopsis of diet. That's a brief synopsis of training. And that is a brief synopsis of progressive overload in training, because the more you progress, the more your muscle is going to grow. A stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. Bigger muscles, a stronger muscle. Now, if you want my personal help, hit that coaching link in the bio. You see the gram. You see me in the T, but, if you look at me without the T, you know what's going on. So, yeah, coaching link is in the bio under this description right here. If you want to work with me, see what this training is like, get it to become a part of your lifestyle, not just something that you're doing. Most of you guys are not training to failure and you don't even know it. So those last 5 stimulating reps is really where you're going to grow, know how to properly train, teaching you how to fish and not just giving you a fish every day. So teaching you how to truly train, how to make great results, and knowing how to do that for the rest of your life. Hit that coaching link in the bio. We can chop it up, see if it'd be a good fit.